Hello, I'm Tina. Welcome to Beautiful Journey and welcome to Mask Monday. Today I'm going to be doing the Freeman Anti-Stress Sea Salt Mud Mask. I got this, I believe, at Dollar Tree, and it's a really pretty color. So decided to do that one today. And I'm also going to use the Caramel Lip Sleeping Mask on my lips, even though I'm not going to be sleeping in this video. I am also going to be doing the 50 questions about me that Erica Conger and Andy from Andy Does Stuff recently did. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll enjoy it too. I'm going to go put this mask on, and I'll be right back. I told you it was a pretty color. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to do for me because it doesn't really say on the packaging, but it says calming and also that it's a mud mask, so there's probably some clarifying there as well. This Caramel lip mask I'm going to put on. It is very, very similar. I would go so far as to say it is a dupe for the Laneige lip sleeping mask. I had suspected that, but wasn't able to actually say that until I'd gotten the Laneige in last year's Sephora birthday gift. And yeah, it really is. It comes in a 3-pack and it's a whole lot less expensive than the Laneige. So if you like the Laneige, maybe give it a try. I'll have it linked down below. Affiliate link, just so you know. Let's get into the questions before my face dries. The first question is, were you named after anyone? Not that I know of. My full name is actually Christina Marie. I have gone by Tina my whole life, except for a year in college when I took a ballet class, and the 3 instructors were very prim and proper. One was French, one was Russian, one was German, and they called me Christina in their respective accents. It seemed appropriate. Number 2, ever been in love? Yes, and I still am. My husband and I have been married for 32 years this month, and we were together for 2 years prior to being married, so I've been in love for 34 years. These are just a hodgepodge conglomerate, so there's all kinds of fun things in here. Number 3 is, what superpower would you like to have? And I'm going with Andy's answer here. She answered that she would like the superpower being able to tell when people were lying to her, and I think that would be an incredibly useful skill to have. Generally, I'm pretty good at reading people, but it would be nice to know if people were actually telling you the truth or not. How tall are you? I am 5'4". I used to say that I was 5'4.5", but I'm pretty sure I've lost that ½ inch. Do you like your handwriting? No, my handwriting really hasn't changed since I was in 3rd grade, and it's not very good. Do I have any tattoos? I do not. Any piercings? Just my ears, single hole each ear. I got them done when I was 12. I wasn't supposed to be able to get them done until I was 13, but we were in a Target that had someone piercing ears. It wasn't something they did all the time. It was a special setup. And we went by and my mom said, "Hey, you want to get your ears pierced?" And I said, "I'm not supposed to be able to until I'm 13. And she said, "Well, you can now." And I did. The first one was no problem until it started throbbing before they did the second one. And then I was like, no, I don't think I want to do this, but I had to because I wanted both of them done. Something you can do that most people can't. I can artificially inseminate cattle. We're not going to go into any specifics, but I did take a course for that when we moved to the farm. I haven't done it in quite a long time. I taught my husband how to do it, and he now takes care of that. Something you used to be able to do, but now can't? The splits. I used to be able to do the splits, but yeah, I can't do that anymore. Do you play an instrument? I used to play the flute, and that has been something that's been on my bucket list for a long time, is to relearn the flute. I played the flute from 5th grade to 9th grade, and I had to quit because I couldn't do marching band and be a cheerleader because they both performed at football games. And if you didn't perform at the football games in marching band, you couldn't get an A in the class. And at that point, I didn't want to sacrifice my GPA to continue, but now I wish I had, because being able to play the flute would be something that I could still do, whereas my GPA makes absolutely no difference in my life anymore. However, I was able to get a flute not too long ago, and I am going to work on trying to reteach myself how to play again. Something you miss? I miss when my kids were little. Those days of just being surrounded by little kids and toys and snacks and naps. When you're in them, they are so overwhelming and so consuming, but I liked it. I liked having them there and kind of being the center of their world, and I miss those days. Do you have kids? Well, based on the prior answer, yes, I do. I have 4. I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and they came in that order. They're 29, 27, soon to be 25, and 15, almost 16. And then we did have a miscarriage after the last one, so I have one in heaven. How old are you? I am 57. Number 14 is your favorite book, and this is actually a series of books. This was the Elm Creek Quilters series from Jennifer Chiaverini. Loved that book series. I listened to it as an audiobook, actually on CDs, several years ago when I had a sewing business. I would listen to it while I sewed, and just really love that series. And I don't think anything's come close to it since. Do you untie your shoes when you take them off? I do not. However, I do untie them when I put them on. Favorite quote, and I've actually adjusted this one to be favorite quote or Bible verse, because my favorite Bible verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, to give you a future and a hope. That is just so comforting to me, that no matter what's happening in my life, it's not a surprise to God, and that there is a plan in it. I may not be able to see it or understand it, but someday I will. And that helps in a lot of situations. Who was the last person you talked to on the phone? That would be my mom. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was the day before that I talked to her. And she's actually one of the few people that I still talk to on the phone, because most people want to communicate by text, but I like talking to my mom on the phone. What's your favorite color? This. That's one reason I decided to do this mask, because I just love this aqua teal kind of color, and it's soothing to me. I like it in a really soft tone, and I like it really vibrant, but this kind of shade is my favorite color. We are on 19, loud music or soft, and that depends. If I'm relaxing, then I want it soft, but if I'm in the car and the good song comes on, man, crank that baby up so you can sing along, right? What is a favorite childhood memory? I was debating on this one because there's two that I wanted to share, but I think I'll do the Halloween one because we just came out of Halloween. So when we were little, my brother and I would go out just with a pack of roving kids on Halloween, and we would dress up. And of course, the week before Halloween is spent coming up with the joke you're going to tell for your trick part of the trick or treat, right? And we would take pillowcases for our candy. And then we would just go around to all the houses. And when the bags got too heavy, we would come home, dump them on the living room floor, and go back out to get more. I think there was one year my brother actually changed costumes and went back to the same houses again. He'd have to confirm that. I'm not sure if that was true or not, if it's just a faulty memory. And my mom would stay home to give out candy, of course, and she would have the haunted house music playing on the record player. And she would dress up and would generally be sort of ghouly or ghost-like or something like that, and have the candy bowl sitting in the middle of the coffee table, and then people would have to come in to get the candy. And I remember when my brother and I were done trick-or-treating, we would kind of sit over in the corner of the living room, and by this point it was the older kids who were out because the younger kids were at home, and we would just laugh and laugh at these kids because my mom would get this really voice coming in, and they would be they'd be like creeping up to the table to get their candy and then snatch it and then run away real quick. And we thought it was hysterical that these kids were afraid of our mom. So that was that one. Maybe someday I'll share the Christmas one too. Do you consider yourself to be an extrovert or an introvert? And I do consider myself to be an introvert, but I'm kind of a social introvert in some situations. For instance, in my job as executive director at the theater, I'm around people and I have to be outgoing and that sort of thing. But those sorts of situations really drain my energy. And when they're over, I generally need a time of recovery without noise and people and that sort of thing to recharge. So in that sense, I'm an introvert. I've always enjoyed being by myself. I don't really like the outdoors much, and so being inside with my books or a craft or something like that has always been kind of my happy place, but I also like to socialize. So, how long does it take you to get ready in the morning? Depends if I have to shower or not, but if I shower, it generally takes about an hour and 10-ish minutes, hour and 15, to shower, dry my hair, straighten it, and do my face. Ever been in a physical fight? No, thank goodness. I can't imagine how much it would hurt to be punched. Just boggles my mind. Clubs or extracurriculars you participated in school? As I mentioned before, I was a cheerleader for a couple of years, and then I joined the school's dance team and we performed at halftimes and that sort of thing. I was also in show choir, and we had performances for that. I did not do theater when I was in school. I was in my 40s before I was ever in my first play. Which was the next question. Have you ever been in a play? Yes, I have several. I think I'm getting close to 20 that I've been in, and I've also directed. The reason I joined YouTube, this is a more complicated answer than I can get into really in just the few seconds that I'm going to answer all these questions to get all 50 of them in, but I wanted to help women like me. I found YouTube back in 2018, and I hadn't really been wearing makeup through my 40s, and things were different. My skin was different, products were different, techniques were different, tools were different, and there was just so much to learn. But I was also on a budget, and so I couldn't spend a lot of money trying different products to find what worked for me. So being able to find YouTubers who had skin like mine, who were my age, was really important, but there weren't a lot of them. There were many in their 30s and 40s. There weren't many in their 50s. And those who were in their 50s often had dry skin, and I still have oily skin. So that's why I joined YouTube, because for the ones that I was able to find who have skin like mine, it was so helpful in being able to narrow down products and not waste a lot of money. And when I share products with you, that's my intent. I'm not trying to convince you that you need to buy a product, but if you need a product, then I'd like to have reviews for you to know what might work for you and what might not, because not everything works for everybody, right? Do you have any fears? Let's talk about rational ones and irrational ones. Rational fears, something happening to my family, my kids, my husband, that kind of thing, which I think is pretty common to all of us. Irrational fears would be bridges. I hate bridges. I hate driving over them. I hate riding in a car over them, and tend to catastrophize as I'm doing it. And when my kids were little, I'd be driving over the bridge and thinking, okay, if we went over the edge, how could I get everybody out and hold everybody and backstroke? And yeah. So bridges, totally irrational, but it's there. Do you have any siblings? I do. I have one brother who is older than I am by 20 months, I think. Not quite 2 years. Last time you said you love someone, just before starting this video, my kids had come in, and when my son left, I told him I loved him. Meaning behind your YouTube name, Beautiful Journey, it's a recognition that this life is a journey, not a destination, and that there is beauty that we need to look for along it. Sometimes it's really hard to find. Sometimes it's right there smacking you in the face, but you can find beauty in every day. So even though I'm focused on makeup, I also would like to kind of branch out into more creativity and how we can bring that beauty into our daily lives. Last book that I read, The Fifth Avenue Story Society, and I'm sorry I forgot to look up the author, but I actually listened to it on audiobook and I really enjoyed it. It was good. And the book I'm currently reading is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I'm about to chapter 7 or 8 and really enjoying it. Laughed out loud a couple of times, and so I'm enjoying that one too. Last show you watched. I'm not sure if this means like I watched a whole series or just the last show I watched. And that would be Fixer Upper, Chip and Joanna. My husband, daughter, and I, when we're having dinner, sometimes we sit down and we pop that on and we enjoy. I'm really enjoying their new series with the castle renovation, but they're doing it like old school style where they only put an episode out on Friday and you got to wait till the next week to see it. So that's kind of fun. Let's see, number 34, scary movies or happy endings. Happy endings any day of the week. I despise scary movies. Hate them. I had a couple of instances when I was younger, one in a haunted house, one with a scary movie at a sleepover, and one with a Stephen King novel. And after that Stephen King novel, I have not read a scary book, haven't been to a haunted house, and do not watch scary movies. Don't like them. Hallmark movies, I'll watch them any day of the week. The relationship between you and the person you last texted. I think I last texted my friend Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie, if you're watching this one. And she is my good friend. Favorite foods, generally the ones that I can't eat. I have gluten issues. I have dairy issues. I'm allergic to garlic. My favorite food actually is like fettuccine alfredo, and that one has all the boxes that I can't have. I have actually been able to substitute and make a gluten-free, dairy-free fettuccine alfredo that is pretty good, but it's not the same. 37, a place you want to visit. I have always wanted to visit the Loire Valley and the chateaus of France, and that's kind of when I'm not watching makeup videos. I love watching chateau renovations, so I would really love to visit the chateaus of France. Last place you were. It's kind of a weird way for a question, but yesterday I went to a winery for a business lunch with a group of arts councils and art directors and that sort of thing. I'll put a picture up here. It was absolutely beautiful, and unfortunately it was a lunch and most of the food that they had was food I couldn't eat, so I stopped at McDonald's on the way home. Number 39, the farthest I've been from home. When I graduated college, I went to Cancun, Mexico with a group of friends, and I believe that would be the farthest I've been from home. Although I've been to California as well, and I'm not sure, I didn't measure the distance, which one was farther. I think Cancun would still be farther. Last time you kissed someone? This morning when I woke up, I kissed my husband. Last time you were insulted? I left this one on there, and I've been thinking about it, but honestly, I cannot think of the last time I was insulted, which I am actually really grateful for. So we're going to just chalk that one up to have no idea, and thank goodness. 42, am I creative? Yes. And I didn't realize for a lot of years that I was creative and that I needed to nurture that creativity in some way, because I always thought of creativity as being an artist, and I'm not an artist. But you can be creative in so many different ways. You can be creative with your makeup. You can be creative with yarn or fabric, or even in my homeschooling, I had to be creative in how I designed curriculum to work for each child. And I started a business when my youngest daughter was little. I made her cloth diapers, and friends asked me to make theirs, and through that I started this online sewing business where I sold cloth diapers that were nothing like the cloth diapers that I used on my first 3 children. The Gerber flats and the pins and the plastic pants, wow, had they changed. This was a whole new level of cloth diapers, and they were cute, and I could really express that creativity in how I paired fabrics, and I created a pattern and that sort of thing. And it was after that that I realized that I do have a creative spirit, and it does need to be nurtured in order for me to feel fully me. And I realized that that was something that I lost a little bit of in those busy years. And so I'm glad to have it back. Do you play an instrument? I alluded to that before in the clubs and high school thing. And so yes, I did play a flute, and I am hoping to reteach myself how to play it again. Favorite piece of jewelry? My wedding ring. And I have loved it since the day my husband gave it to me. Last sport you played? I don't play sports. In PE, I was always the last one chosen. I am not athletic, but I was a dancer. And so I've always thought that dancing counts as a sport because you train and you practice and you're strong, and not everybody can do it. And so if that's the case, if we can count sport as a dance, then it was last Thursday when I taught a dance class. Last song I sang. This is a hard one because I often break out into song at random times because something somebody says will remind me of a song lyric, and so I start singing that song. And I can't actually think which one it was that I might have sung last. And I wasn't singing in the car yesterday because I was listening to an audiobook, so I don't know. Any pets? Yes, we have a dog. Her name is Kyla, and she's a rescue, a little mutt. We believe that she has some sort of terrier in her and also maybe a little pit, but she is so adorable and the sweetest little dog you'd ever want to see. And smart. Oh my goodness, she's smart. And then I also have a cat. His name is Leonard, and he's an excellent mouser. I got him on Halloween 2 years ago, so just celebrated his gotcha day. And he's kind of a little bit like a dog in that he will come when you call him, and he loves to have his belly rubbed, but when he's done, he'll bite you. Not hard, but enough to let you know that he is still a cat. Are you neat or messy? I am messy. I would love to be neat, but I'm not. I'm not a good housekeeper. I'm not a very good cook. And I don't like housekeeping or cooking, and so I don't have much incentive to get better at it. And so I've just kind of accepted those aspects of my personality and learned to live with them. Any living grandparents? Sadly, no. My last living grandparent passed away a couple of years ago, but she made it to the ripe old age of 102, and she lived with us from the time I was 16 until I moved out, and then she still lived at my mom's, so I got to see her a lot and had a really good relationship with her. Who should answer these questions next? Anybody who wants to. If you are watching this video and you have a YouTube channel, consider yourself tagged. And I will actually put my list of questions down in the description box, but feel free to change any that don't suit you, that you don't want to answer, that are too personal, and add any in that you come across that you actually would like to answer. I hope that you've all enjoyed this. My mask has been on for 15 minutes, so it's time to go wash it off. But if you have more time to watch YouTube, why don't you sneak over there and watch that one, and I'll meet you there. See you later. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.